There's a man of God that I respect. His name starts with an A, and his last name starts with a P. And I'm under the impression that he listens to me sometimes. I had a dream last night where where there was a man who was teaching the Bible, but he was a universalist. He believed that everybody's going to be saved in the end, like Carlton Pearson. And I came up to him, and there was some girl next to him, and I came up to him and I said, "What about God's holiness, justice, and power? And what about a serial killer? You're going to tell me that God's universal love puts all those things aside, and that there's no eternal punishment for a serial killer who's unrepentant and dies in his sins, and that God's attributes of holiness, justice, and power don't matter? It's just his love." At that point, he felt rebuked by the word of God, and he got up and he walked away. I was friendly about it and went over and gave him a handshake after playing around with the golf. I was stressed out after it, after confronting him. And so I went over and I played around with a golf tee. I saw a little tee, a golf tee, and I let him played around with it. And then I went back to him and I clapped his hand a little. Okay, do you give him kind of like one of those weird handshakes where you kind of don't do a regular handshake, but you kind of like put your hand over the top? And he was light skinned. He was a black guy though. So anyway, he goes into this store. Okay, and I see neo-Nazis in the store. I don't know what that represents unless he has hang-ups about racism. And I saw the man of God sitting on a chair. And this was outdoors. So it was like there was a church outdoors. The man of God was sitting on a chair. The man of God with first initial A, last initial P, was looking at his smartphone, looking down at it. And that was the end of the dream. I go up onto YouTube after I wake up in the morning and find out that this man of God just put something on YouTube from his smartphone. Okay, so I'm going to interpret that dream the best of my ability. I believe that the man who was teaching the Bible, who I rebuked, was like Carlton Pearson. He was a light-skinned black man, possibly a pastor, who's under the covering of this man of God, who's like Carlton Pearson. He believes in universalism. And it might be spiritually beneficial for this man of God to require all of his pastors to read a book called Is Hell for Real, or Does Everyone Go to Heaven? By Christopher Morgan and Robert Peterson. Because what it does, it's this really small, it's like a 90-page booklet, and it takes you through all the scriptures, Old Testament and New Testament, on hell. And if you find pastors in your network that are like Carlton Pearson and reject and are into like universal salvation, they need to be fired. And if they boo-hoo-hoo and say it's racism, it doesn't matter. They need to be fired. That's my interpretation. My other interpretation is it might be good for you to go and play some golf. Let go of some of that stress. All right. So I'm out of the dream interpretation now. Okay? And now I'm just going to express some thoughts. Because I'm not a church planner. I don't even have experience in church planning. I don't even know administration stuff. All I know is this. I've been trying to respond to the Great Commission for 25 years, and I've seen lukewarmness and traditionalism in every Pentecostal and charismatic church I've been in. And I am under the current persuasion. I'm not prophesying. I'm just under a persuasion. I'm just telling you my thoughts, my feelings. I am under the persuasion that if people are called into a revival type ministry, you're on your own. You are on your own. You do not have the help of denominations. You are on your own. Just like John Wesley, just like William J. Seymour. On your own. Kicked out of the church, locked out of the church, praying at Bonnie Bray Street. So here's the thing. The Apostolic Faith newspaper that William J. Seymour had, I read somewhere that he accumulated 50,000 subscribers. Well, of course, with that, he had people travel all over the country to come to his church. So if that principle could be replicated through YouTube, through WordPress, get 50,000 subscribers first, and so you shall have people traveling out of state to your church. And the finances will take care of themselves. But don't let anybody take your subscriber list away from you. Because that's what happened to William J. Seymour. He trusted the wrong people, and some jealous white woman, when he got married to Jenny Moore, some jealous white woman took his subscriber list and destroyed the Azusa Street mission. So anyway, God bless out there. This is John with WesleyGospel.com.